Here we go. Haven't had a video in a minute. There's really not been a whole lot of news on the Colts, just a bunch of rumorville with everybody. So, people's mock drafts, talking a lot about Will Levis. I'm not going to really get into that too much. What we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about the Colts and everybody they've done in free agency. We're going to go over it again. They've added a few. And then we are also going to talk about what I think they're going to do in the draft. So, sit tight.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind.
All right, so the Indianapolis Colts so far, and this is the very first one. I'm just going to throw it out there because I don't understand it, and there's a second one I don't understand as well. But the first one is we signed kicker Matt Gay to a 4-year, $22.5 million. It is a new high, the highest paid kicker in the NFL right now, and we let McLaughlin go to Tampa Bay. I don't understand this move. McLaughlin played really well. He was really accurate for us last year, and we choose to pay more money out of our pocket for somebody else. Yes, Matt Gay is probably the best kicker in the NFL right now, but why would you want to replace somebody that's actually doing pretty well for us? Why fix something that's not broken? I don't get it. He has nothing to do with offense. He just kicks the field goal, it goes in, and we go on to the next move. That is a special team player that was playing fine. I don't understand the concept behind it. I wish they would be more explanatory on why they let people go. They don't have to be deep down into it. It could be as simple as we decide to move on with Matt Gay because we feel like he's a better kicker, or we feel like he gives us the best chance to win games. I would not agree with that. I really wouldn't. I don't see much of the percentage as far as, whether or not McLaughlin would have ever, cost us a game, because he really didn't do that last year. Second one was Stephon Gilmore. Stephon Gilmore traded for a 5th round pick to the Cowboys. He is our best defensive back. It makes absolutely no sense. And I wish they would give us some information behind that, because I don't know if maybe he said, I am not playing for you guys anymore. I really don't know. And I wish it could say that they could have said something like it's out of our hands. Because why would you get rid of that good of a player? Our best player on defense in the backfield by far. Lockdown defensive back. I really don't get it. I would never got rid of him, and it makes no sense to me. Two biggest ones that makes 0 sense. All right, so we then have Samson Ebicum. I know I just messed up his name, but he's a defensive end, 3-year contract, $27 million. So I'm not real sure. But there's a lot of defense in this. So he was not that big of a player. He was not a massive game changer. He didn't have that many sacks. I think he might have had 5 sacks. I could be wrong. It could have been closer to 3. I know it wasn't very high. That signing doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. However, I'm hoping that Chris Ballard is getting with the defensive coordinator, and he's saying, hey, this guy's going to fit my system. He's going to do what I need him to do. So let's hope that's what it is. We got a defensive tackle, Tavon Bryan, 1 year, $4.5 million. We got a lot of 1-year signings, which is, I'm assuming they're thinking if they are a bust, it's a 1-year contract, which tells me they don't have a lot of confidence in them. So I don't understand why they signed him like this. But nevertheless, he signed quarterback Gardner Minshew. 1 year, $5.5 million. Again, I'm assuming that's going to be the head coach. That's where where he worked out, was his offensive coordinator at. I'm assuming that he has a lot of faith in Minshew, and that's the reason why we have him. We got a wide receiver. Now, he did come from Buffalo, and he is productive with his catches. He does not average very many yards per catch. It's like 5.5, I believe. He was looked at quite a bit, though. He is a fast slot receiver, so we'll see how this goes. But it's Isaiah McKenzie up to a 1 year contract. Again, 1 year, $1.8 million. So then we have a running back, which I thought we were good on running backs, but maybe not. Darrington Evans, 1 year contract, but only for $943,000, I think, not quite a million. It's a fairly low number. A lot of these are, but to see not even at $1 million just kind of surprises me. I don't know why this signing happened unless they thought maybe he could produce something, or maybe he can do some run blocking for us. I really don't know, but for a 1 year contract for less than $1 million, if they thought he could fit in the system, I see why, but we'll see how that goes. We got a tight end. He comes from the Browns. His name is Brown, but I have no idea. He's a recent signing. It's a possible signing pending on his physical. He has to pass his physical. So I have no idea how much, and I have no idea how long. I looked, couldn't find nothing. But he's more likely going to be signed. And the last one that I want to mention, however, it is not the last. The one it aggravates me right now. I'm irritated, and I don't understand it. Yes, Campbell. It's Paris Campbell. He was injured a lot the year before last. Last year he played the entire season. Looked good. I don't know if they decided they just weren't willing to gamble on him because how much he was injured his first 2 years. But to me, he looked good. He was fast. We needed him, and we traded. Well, I should say we traded. We let him go. He was free agent. We let him go, and the Giants picked him up on a 1 year deal. I don't know how much that deal was, but a 1 year deal. It can't be that much. How could you not match if you wanted to keep him? So we have two of our mainstream players, our go-to guys, so to speak, gone. Stephon Gilmore and Paris Campbell. Do we not like weapons? So I don't get it. Do we not like weapons? Now, in the draft, I personally think we're going to stay at 4. I don't think we're going to move up to 3. I'm hoping nobody else moves up to 3. And we're going to get a quarterback. I'm not going to vote on which quarterback. I really personally don't like either one of them. I don't. There's a lot of talk about Will Levis, and there's a lot of talk about Indianapolis might pick up Anthony Richardson. And then, talk about Will Levis. Anthony Richardson has a high ceiling, and that's what everybody's been saying. He's an athletic beast, but we don't know. He's not shown enough for me to say that he's going to be able to play here in the NFL. And he falls flat on his face. I personally don't care. I do not want to sign another quarterback that's already played years in, whether they've been good or not, to a large contract. I just don't. If the $231 million is, I won't say who it is, everybody knows, $231 million, if that's actually what he's asking for, is a stupid amount of money. Now, there was a statement made that he's only wanting $131 million. Now, I don't know if that's true, and if it is, it's more reasonable. But still, he's paid. That's high. as high, and he still can. And they can still match whatever anybody offers him. So Lamar Jackson, he is definitely a good quarterback. Don't get me wrong. I just don't know that that's who I want for the Colts. I want us to groom somebody who fits in Indy because he grows in Indy. That's what I want. I want somebody who feels like they started here, they fit the system here, they know how things go here already, and possibly retire if they become good enough. So that's what I want. I want us to take a chance on a rookie, and if he falls flat on his face, fine. If we end up only winning 2 games next year, I personally want to pick up Marvin Harrison Jr. That's just me. I trade up to number 1 if you have to. Get Marvin Harrison Jr. And then, see what we can do about a quarterback. There's only so much you can do. You got to put the people that we need in the spots we need them. But nevertheless, Colts need a quarterback first round. Second, and they have another pick in the first round. They have a second pick in the first round. They need to go defensive back because we do not have Stephon Gilmore anymore. We have nobody who's actually that good. We need a defensive back as bad as we need a receiver at the moment. And if we don't get a receiver, then I'm not worried about it. We picked up a receiver from Buffalo. It's supposed to be good. We have 2 good receivers on the team. None of these 3 receivers are going to be a number 1 receiver. We have 1 really good number 2 receiver. Like, he's teeter-tottering to be a number 1. But I don't know if he's got the speed to be number 1. Pittman Jr., he's sure-handed as hell. He will make the catches for us. He will, get the yards we need to get, or at least he will try to. Now on the other side, we have Alec Pierce. So Alec Pierce showed incredible catching last year in some difficult spots to be catching the ball, whether it be high, low, falling, floating back. I mean, he caught some crazy catches last year. He also dropped some passes last year as well. I think he's going to improve tremendously this year. He's got speed. Now, if he can put that speed to his talent and be able to go deep with his route running, then I think that he could be a possible new deep guy. Now, I don't know, but as he's performing, he became an okay number 2 wide receiver last year. Toward the end of the year. So I think he could be possibly a number 1, but nobody really knows yet. So I'm gonna call him a number 2 as well. So you have Alec Pierce, Michael Pittman, and then you got the new guy that just came in, Isaiah McKenzie, as a slot receiver. So there's your 3 receivers. We do not need a receiver this year. If we're going to fall on our face this year, then let's go ahead and grab Marvin Harrison Jr. That's what we should do. Now, I'm sure they're going to go offensive line, defensive line. I'm sure that, Colts are going to make some possible trade backs. I don't know where they're going to be at, but there's a lot of other players that they're going to pull from. But we need to get, number 1, a quarterback, number 2, a cornerback, and number 3, a wide receiver. We need those 3. And the wide receiver can wait until next year. If that's what's going to happen, that's what's going to happen. We do have weapons. They're not great weapons, but they're weapons that you can win with. So depending on what quarterback we possibly get, he can be a weapon as well with his feet. So we'll see. But yeah, that's my personal opinion on what the Colts should go for in the first 3 picks. And we need a corner. So we got to get that corner first before the wide receiver. And if the wide receiver does not come open, don't worry about it. Start picking some pieces to improve the team in other positions. So Chris Ballard, please, please stick with the game plan. Because I know it was there in the first place. I know that everybody had talked to you. I know it's all on paper somewhere. We're picking a quarterback in the first round. First round, our first pick, quarterback. Now, do you want to move up for Anthony Richardson? You know what? Somebody moves up to number 3 and gets him. Yeah, I mean, we are left with Levis, but I'm going to say the same thing I did say about Anthony Richardson. If he falls on his face, he falls on his face. If he doesn't, it's a bonus. But why spend money on somebody that's already got problems? It's, yes, he's been in the NFL, so he knows how to play in the NFL, but he's hit a lot. He's averaging at least 4 or 5 games. He's missing out on 4 or 5 games a year. There's no sense in picking him up. And our system, he's coming into a brand new facility, a brand new system, and it's kind of like playing for Indiana. It's kind of like playing for Purdue. There is a set mind, or a mindset, I apologize, a mindset that you have. There is a traditional mindset. And for players of that importance, not to say not everybody's important, because they're absolutely important, because the quarterback can't do his job without an offensive line. So I apologize for making it that way. But for somebody who's going to get paid that much money and do the things that he has to do, I just feel like we need to start from scratch and build somebody to be who they're going to be in the future here at Indy. Let him build that traditional mindset that Indianapolis Colt quarterback needs. So, but anyways, my look on things, Ballard, please do what you need to do. We need to get a quarterback. We need to find a defensive back. Do not trade back. Do not trade back. However, he trades back, there's a good possibility that he doesn't have a job next year. So maybe we'll start off with a better GM. And he's a good GM. He doesn't like picking where he gets stuck. So if he had the number 1 pick, it would not surprise me if he trades back. It wouldn't surprise him. Now, on the upside, what could happen? On the upside, what could happen? What could happen is Anthony Richardson goes number 2. And if Anthony Richardson goes number 2, that'll be crazy. But if he does, that leaves either C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young as a 3rd pick. Now you need to start thinking. Step up. Give some trades to go number 3 to get either to either get Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud. Whoever doesn't go number 1, whoever gets to number 2, you pick him. You do whatever you got to do to move up to number 3 to grab him. Because if Anthony Richardson goes number 2, let's leave one of them to go number 3. And you do not want somebody to trade up to get him. Because it'll happen. Now, will that actually happen? Will he step up and do what needs to be done to get the quarterback of what could be our future? I don't know. I have no idea. But if it does happen, he's going to keep his job. If he actually follows through and grabs either C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young in the 3rd round pick, and he needs to trade up to do it. He should have traded up to number 1. I never understood that either. The last thing is I cannot believe that Indianapolis Colts did not go number 1 in the draft. How can you pass up a number 1 pick trading up to either C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young? I don't get it. But it happened. And it's another reason why Ballard's on the fence on whether or not he gets fired next year. So let's hope he does what he needs to do to get the quarterback we need to win. Until next time, you all have a good one. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed, like if you haven't liked, and I will catch you all on the next one.